up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we're going to be taking a look at some free agent options for the Detroit Lions for 2021. Today, it's safeties. So let's get it started.
You know, I got to shout out DoseOfDion, man, because it was actually the first time I went live on YouTube. And, you know, guys don't know DoseOfDion. He put out a lot of good content for the Detroit Lions.
Welcome everybody to another video. Glad you guys are here. And yes, we're going to take a look at some free agent options for the Lions. And we haven't done one of these videos in a hot minute, so I thought let's come back strong with the safety position, as it's kind of one of those underrated needs for the Lions. You know, it's easy to overlook that this could be a need. But with Duron Harmon set to hit free agency, now he could be brought back. You could include him on this list. I didn't do that because we already know about Duron, so I want to talk about other guys. But you could include him on this list. But because he's set to hit free agency, and if he does, that means the Lions are going to need that free safety / deep safety / ball hawk in the back end that they don't have with Tracy Walker and Will Harris. And while, yes, this could be something that they go after in the draft, definitely could be. Not saying it can't be. There are options out there, you know, if the Lions want to do that. But they do only have 6 picks as of now. I mean, they could trade back. But I think there's also some strong options in free agency to consider. Guys with ties and also some young guys with potential that are like a draft pick. All right, so I do have 2 honorable mentions as well as 6 safeties we're going to talk about in today's video. So let's just dive right into it. Honorable mentions, let's just kind of put them together here. The first honorable mention we have is out of San Francisco, is Jaquiski Tartt. All right, now why does Tartt come in as an honorable mention? Well, let's talk about him a little bit. Tartt is a 6'1", 215-pound safety that's 29 years old that has shown his kind of versatility over the years. And he's also showed how talented he can be, as at one point he's graded out incredibly well at every single facet of the game for a safety. What are the issues, though? The issues are, 1, he can't stay healthy. 3 of the last 4 years, he's missed significant time with injuries. When he's been on the field, he's fun to watch. He just hasn't been able to stay on the field. Also, the reason I have him listed as an honorable mention is because he's more of a strong safety. I was trying to look more for free safeties, ball hawks. That's not exactly Tartt's game. However, he's such a good safety when he's healthy, and because his price tag could be kind of low, and because he can play a lot of different spots, I felt like I had to at least mention this guy on the list. His last 3 seasons when he's on the field, he's put up good numbers. I mean, look at the passer ratings. 89.6, 66.8, 97.6. Only 4 touchdowns to 2 interceptions, and over the 3 years combined, a 58.3% completion percentage. What I like about his game personally to me is his tackling. The guy can be a tone setter in the back end that flies down to make plays, and he will just kind of lay you out. You can also bring him on blitzes. He has 120 combined tackles to only 11 missed tackles, but it's the injuries, and it's also the fact that he's not really just a ball hawking, you know, free safety kind of guy. Yes, he can play in a split safety look, which gives you, potential to put him on the list, but he's more of a strong safety type, which kind of makes sense when you watch his play style. He's long, he's athletic. It makes sense when you watch him. And he's not the youngest guy, but you could probably give him a couple-year deal. He's projected 2 years, $4.5 million per year. And you know what? When you think a guy with that many injuries wouldn't be getting that much money. The reason he's projected that much money per year is because he's just been a good player when he's on the field. He's a really good player when he's on the field. He's very fun to watch. Robert Saleh spoke very highly of him. He's a good player. You know, he's kind of like the guy in the back end. He's kind of like a tone setter, but he's just got to find a way to stay healthy consistently. And for the Lions, couple scary things there, right? Injuries are always a little bit concerning for sure. And obviously the fact that, he's not the youngest guy either. So, maybe not really a core piece, maybe a guy for the next couple of years, yes, but maybe not necessarily a core piece that the Lions could look to bring in here. So I thought I had to at least mention him though, because he is talented when healthy, and that is Tartt. And the other honorable mention that we have is a new safety from Philadelphia. This is Jalen Mills. So Jalen Mills actually was a cornerback, if you guys remember, and he struggled at that position. So last season they decided, you know what, let's make you safety. I actually think they lost Malcolm Jenkins last year too, so that might have been something with it. But they said, let's try you at safety. We got to try to figure out something here with you. So they moved him to safety. And wow, did he play well at safety. He put up some outstanding numbers. 82 passer rating, 57% completion percentage, 1.5 sacks, 74 combined tackles to only 9 missed tackles. I mean, those are great numbers. And you're thinking, wow, why is this guy not higher on the list? Well, kind of more of a strong safety again, okay? Way less of a free safety here, and he's kind of played more of a strong safety, but he does have versatility because he has played in multiple positions, and he's still young within it, so that's also another concern. Can he keep this up consistently? He played over 200 snaps at free safety, over 200 snaps in the slot, and over 300 snaps in the box. Okay, now he has the ability to jump down and cover and slot. He just wasn't a very good corner. There's a reason he switched over. But he has that ability, and you can feel confident. Also, he's kind of young still. So this could be an option for the Lions. As you can see, he's projected to make $4.3 million per year, which isn't that much. It's a little bit below, I think, the average is going to be for safeties this offseason. offseason. Not super expensive for a guy you lock up for 3 years. I think he deserves to be mentioned. It's just that, again, he's more of a strong safety than a free safety type of mold. So that's why I didn't put him in the actual list. But yeah, I think he definitely deserves to be mentioned, and that is Jalen Mills. But now let's get into the actual list here. And honestly, these next two, I don't count them honorable mentions, but they're kind of close to that. The reason I say that is not because they're not good and not because they wouldn't be perfect fits. It's because of that money. You know what I'm saying? It's that money, right? The Lions' money issues could be a problem. Now, a lot of teams have money issues this year, right? They're going to have a lot of issues with that. So that could drop free agent prices. And I don't know what the Lions are valuing in the free agency. They may not bring Golladay back. Maybe they want to spend a lot of money on safety. They could. I don't think they will, but maybe they do. I mean, hey, Aaron Glenn is their defense coordinator. Here was the secondary guy. So that starts the list. And coming in at number 6, we have John Johnson, the safety. John Johnson III, the safety from the LA Rams. Now, he is one of the best safeties in the game. He really is. I don't know if he'd be a perfect fit, at least if we go to the similar defense to what Aaron Glenn did last season, but he has enough talent to really do whatever you need of him, and he also would be a core piece, okay? Because of his age, you will lock this guy up for multiple years. He's projected 4 years, $13.75 million a year. Yikes, that's a lot of money. But if you want a beast in the back end, well, then this could be an option because he is proven and he has connections with Aubrey Pleasant, who is our, new secondary coach. At 6 foot, 209 pounds, he has not allowed over 70% completion percentage in the last 3 years. He also has had 7 interceptions and only 5 touchdowns allowed. That's a lot. You usually don't see that. And guess what? His highest pass rating he's allowed in the last 3 years is an 81.9. That is just insane. I mean, that is just insane. The numbers speak for themselves. There's tons of numbers to look at too, like the fact that in 2019 he went down with an injury, and in 2020 he came back and was the 3rd ranked safety in the league by PFF. I mean, just think about that. I mean, that's just insane. So maybe the injury bumps him down, and maybe teams like, oh, we don't want to spend money there, and maybe somehow we get him for like $3 million a year and he becomes a Lion. No? I might be dreaming a little bit there. But I thought I'd at least put him on the list because he would fit well. He's got ties. It makes sense. The money doesn't really make sense. And I look, he's going to get his first big payday. He might take like a smidge less to work with someone that he's familiar with, but I don't think he's going to take a lot less. I think this guy, hey, he wants his first big payday. Go get paid. Go get paid, my man. So that moves us to number 5. And coming in number 5 is a very similar situation, and that's Marcus Williams. Again, not that I don't like these guys. I mean, they would be higher on the list. I love them. They'd be amazing to have in Detroit. The issue, again, is just the price tag. He's projected $14.25 million a year. Wow. But at 6'1", 195, only 24 years old, again, he would be a core piece, which the Lions want. And he's just been, again, incredible. Working with Aaron Glenn, he was in the 90th percentile in terms of coverage, and he's also near the top of the league in forced incompletions. 57 to 106 completions. Passer rating last season, 92.8. Now, the 2 years before that, they were over 100. But I can tell you this, the guy's a monster. All right, Aaron Glenn knows what he's about. He fits the position really well. I like him because he fits perfectly. He worked with Aaron Glenn. I'm assuming we're going to see something similar in Detroit from what our roles are for safeties. And if that is the case, who better to fit than the guy that played that role, and he was outstanding at it as the deep safety, as the split. So I thought I'd at least put them on the list, but I put it at the bottom because that price tag, hey, it is about the price. It is about the price tag this time. So that moves us into number 4. And coming in at number 4, let's get this thing popping. Coming in at number 4, I have Desean Gibson at 6'1", 212 pounds, 30 years old. Desean Gibson, yes, the age, right? Okay, that's why he's not higher. He's not old enough. He's not a core piece. You might be able to sign him for a couple years. Like, hey, where are we 2 years from now? Well, you want a good safety that's not super expensive? Gibson's that guy. Now, he doesn't have those obvious ties, okay, but he has been with Chicago, Houston, Jacksonville recently. He's kind of bounced all around. Now, hey, one of our defensive guys, I think our defensive line coach was with Jacksonville, so hey, there is something there. But he doesn't have like the immediate ties like Aaron Glenn or, Aubrey Pleasant. However, he's been phenomenal. 63% completion percentage, 54% completion percentage, and 52% completion percentage in the last 3 years. Pass ratings allowed, really good, and he's very versatile as a player. Can line up at slot, free safety, in the box. You can fly him all around. He's just a good safety. And if you just want a good player in the back end that's not super expensive, as he's projected 1 year, $2.75 million a year, maybe you lock him up for like 2 years. These projections are by PFF, by the way. Maybe you lock him up for like 2 years and you're like, hey, we just want a good safety in the back end. Maybe you can help us from these young guys, kind of add that, leadership to the back end. Look, you maybe don't have those direct ties, but you know what he's done, you know what he can do, and how teams have benefited from having Gibson in the back end. The thought is usually it's concerning when someone's not locked up and they're with one team for a very long time, but I also think it's impressive when you see a guy put up good numbers, continuing to get paid. He's not out of the league, but also fitting in many different schemes. You can also see by just the stats alone, he's played both strong and free safety. So the versatility's there, and he's been able to fit into multiple schemes and play well on the fly. So that's what's cool. It's the price tag, okay? It is about the price tag, and that price tag looking pretty good. So Desean Gibson comes in at 4. But now we're into the top 3. Y'all know the top 3 is a big deal. Coming in at number 3, we have another safety. This one is Xavier Woods. All right, so I hate to be the guy to step in and do this, but I'm actually taking this next player out of the list. Yeah, I'm taking him out of the list, okay? We're just going to kind of jump to the next 2 guys, and we're just going to call it a top 5 in the title. I know I said 6. You still got the honorable mentions, so, you know, it's still basically 7, but I'm throwing this next guy out. See, I watched him, and I liked his play. But I'm a little bit worried about this quote that I found on him, and that's Xavier Woods. So I like this play. You know, I thought he had some really nice seasons, but last year was a big struggle. But then when I heard this quote, and I was kind of like overlooking, okay, he had a bad year, but, you know, he could bounce back. But then when I read the quote that, you know, hey, you don't expect us to play 100%, you know, every play, I was like, ooh, that's not good. You know, that's not good. I don't know if I really want that coming out of my safety. So, you know what? I'm taking him out of the list. Maybe you could still put him in there because, look, I overlooked, you know, hey, it was a bad year. The defense is all bad. It's not his fault and things like that. But that quote kind of just, I don't know, it kind of pulls me away a little bit. So we're just going to hop right into the next 2. I'm sorry. I know it's awkward, but it is what it is, man. How y'all doing? That moves us into the top 2. Now, these top 2 are vastly different. Number 1, I think, is by far the best option. That's why he's number 1. And number 2 is a solid option, but very interesting. So, coming in at number 2, we have Malik Hooker. Now, Malik Hooker, wow, you're like, hey, I haven't heard that name in a hot minute. Yes, he is the former 15th overall pick by the Indianapolis Colts, okay? So, the former Buckeye, Malik Hooker, comes here. Now, he's only 24 years old. Now, you're probably thinking, okay, well, why is he available if he was a 50? Yeah, they declined his 5th-year option. Not good. He just hasn't been or lived up to the hype that they've hoped for, and now last season he goes down with an injury. They're like, yeah, we're not picking up this, all right? Last season, he tore his ACL. So they decided not to pick up his 5th-year option. And in 2019, he allowed a 110 pass rating, 2018, a 111 pass rating, and 77% completion percentage. Not good numbers, not at all. However, coming out of the draft, what did he do well? He had great range, great ball skills. I mean, this guy could just fly around. He could play deep safety at such a high level, and we've seen the flashes. 7 interceptions, basically in 3 years because he didn't play really last season. In his first year, rookie, 3 interceptions, last 2 after that, 2 interceptions each. Good numbers there. So there are flashes of potential. You just need to find the consistency. Also, you got to make sure that he comes back healthy. But why do I have him so high on this list? It's because of that projected contract. 1 year, $2 million deal. I doubt that that's what he gets paid. But going by PFF, if it's anywhere around that, it makes sense to consider it. Because I look at it like this. It's high reward, low risk. All right? We signed Nick Williams last year to 2 years, $10 million. That one was like good reward, maybe, because his best year was the year before at 6 sacks, but also, like, pretty good risk as well, because you're paying this guy $5 million a year. If you get this guy less than what you pay Nick Williams, the potential is sky high. How do they think he'll get better? He's projected to be better if he gets to play more deep safety sets. And if you watch Marcus Williams last season, while yes, he did have to play split, he also did play a lot of deep safety sets, which is what the Lions are lacking right now. I look at it like this. If you sign him to a cheap deal for a couple years, you could look at it like, okay, 1 or 2 years for a prove-it deal. And you say, okay, where are we 2 years from now? Well, not only where is Tracy, Will Harris, Amani Okuda, and then we adjust, we evaluate, we decide who we're going to keep, who we're not going to keep, who we're going to extend, all that. But you could do the same thing with Malik Hooker. You could say, okay, 2 years from now, can he be the guy in the back end? Yes or no? Or do we need to figure out something else? If you're going to rock with some of the other young guys, this is the perfect time. It's kind of the same case that I made for, what was his name? Was it, no, I about said Jordan Howard. That's not right. For the Michigan guy at corner. I can't think of his name. I cannot think of it off the top of my head. My bad. But okay, you guys know what I'm talking about. The cornerback video. Kind of made the same case there. That's what I'm seeing with Malik Hooker. If he gets that low of a price because he's coming off an injury and he's had some rough seasons and he hasn't lived up to the hype and he's had some missed tackle issues, but you can bring him in and let him play more of the role that he's hoping to play and that kind of was drafted for. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Dang. Okay, so what? I mean, hey, you lost a couple million. That stinks, but I mean, it's not that big of a deal, honestly. I mean, he hasn't earned that much money, so he's not going to get paid a lot. But if it does work, you potentially stole somebody. You potentially stole him. Because I have so much confidence in this coaching staff just from seeing what they've done with the Rams and the Saints. I have confidence in what they do with these safeties. I've seen what they've done with undrafted guys. I've seen what, Marcus Williams became and what John Johnson became. What if you gave a guy like Hooker a chance in a defense that he would fit for? He's shown you flashes, just hasn't shown you the consistency. Great size, great range, great ball skills. I think it's something to consider if that price is that low. I don't know if it will be. If it's like $6 million a year, I'm not that interested. But if it's low like that, now you got, now you might be onto something, okay? And that brings me to number 1. And number 1, you guys knew who this was going to be, right? It's Trey Boston. I have a video on Trey Boston. All right, Trey Boston at 6'1", 205, 28 years old. I just think it's a no-brainer that this is someone you heavily consider for this role. He's projected 1 year, $2.25 million a deal. I just want to walk off, okay? If he gets that much money And the Lions don't show interest. They don't need to sign him, but at least show interest. I'm going to lose it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Oh, he's coming off a bad year. That's why. He's not good. He's coming off a bad year. Okay, yes, true. But the video will break it down if you want to, but I'll sum it up pretty quickly. They hired a new defensive coordinator that took him out of his role. Instead of making him the split safety and the deep safety, he instead made him a lot of a box safety, which is not what he's good at. He's not a box safety. That's not what Detroit needs. So when they made him a box safety, the guy had his worst season. They're like, oh, what the heck? Before that, this guy every single year was good. Guess what his best season was with Anthony Lynn. So there is a tie. In 2017, the guy had 5 interceptions and 79 combined tackles. Before he switched to that role in the last 2 years, 74.9 pass rating and a 90.7 pass rating, including that bad year. 10 touchdowns given up and 7 interceptions in the last 3 seasons. He's not the best safety out there. But for that price tag, to put him back in his natural role, if teams miss out that, hey, oh, he's just not that good, he came off bad year. But if you don't realize that they changed his role, and if we put him back in that role, every single year in his natural role, he has balled out and he's been reliable as a cover safety, as an absolute ball hawk in the back end. They changed his role and it didn't work. That's why they got rid of him. Because they're like, hey, we just signed a 2-year contract. They signed this guy to a 3 or $18 million deal. 1 year later, they release him because they bring in the new staff. And they're like, oh, he didn't fit the spot we needed to, so we're going to do it for now. Makes sense for them, but for us, oh my gosh. If that's the price you get paid, even if it's $3 million, you got to show some interest. You got to show some interest, people. Come on, man. Come on. So that ends off the list, man. There's a lot of other guys you can put on this list. Like, Justin Simmons, like Marcus May, like, Connor O'Neal, Jenkins, Ricardo. Here's the thing. I try to stay away from, like, more strong safeties. I try to look at more of the free safety type that was more of a ball hawk in the back end. Even though some of these guys I did mention on here have some strong safety ties, I tried to focus more on the free safeties. I also was trying to keep in mind the price tag, right? I mean, I didn't name all the best safeties. I didn't name Anthony Harris, but I try to keep in mind, okay, price tag. So the only guys I put with the monster price tags are guys that have ties, because I think if the Lions are going to shell out $14 million a year for safety, which I don't think they will, I would think they would do it with someone that has a connection to one of our coaches. Unless they didn't like him, I would think that's who it would be. So let me know your thoughts, comments below, man. Thank you, Pride, for watching, and I'm out.